Hello, everybody. Greetings to the show today. We are so excited today because we have the keys to your best life. Today, I have my dear friend, Lisa Hooks, with me, and she is an entrepreneur, a minister, all of these amazing things I'm going to tell you about. But first, I want to tell you that we won't be interacting like we normally do because I want to reuse this purpose into a podcast. And so I will go back and answer all your questions, comments, and talk to you about my amazing friend, Lisa, as well as Lisa will put her links and so forth in at the end. If you do have questions, put them in the chat stream. If you're watching this for the first time, put hashtag first time. And if you're watching this on the replay, put hashtag replay, because we want to know that you're here and we will reach out to you. So today on Keys to Your Best Life, I have a dear friend. I just can't say enough things about this woman. And so I don't get off track. I'm going to look at her bio here, even though I know it by heart. And I know her by the heart because Lisa and I have been connected for a long time. When the Lord brought her to Middle Tennessee, I was honored to become her buddy. And we have done so many things over the years together. And I have watched God show up and show out in so many areas of her life. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later, how she ended up here and how all this has come to pass. But right now, I want you to know that her first and foremost thing that she's known for is her love for God and sharing it with people. She is an ordained minister. She facilitates deliverance and restoration. And that right there, above all of the other cool things she does, is the coolest in my opinion, and hers as well. She does that with prophetic delivery. She has 15 years in full-time ministry, and she is the co-founder of Power Fueled Living with her husband, Kenneth. And that, if you're not watching that broadcast, you are missing out, because she has always got all kinds of great people on there, all kinds of insights, professionals in various areas, and there's something for everyone. So make sure that you catch that show. She is the executive producer of that show. It's a talk show, and it focuses on helping people grow in God's plan. And I have seen so many various topics that is just good. It's good fertilizer for our growth, our spiritual walk. In addition to that, she's the co-founder of Liberty Through Christ, Be Made Whole with myself. Her and I have an annual conference. We love to serve the people. And it's just a little snippet. This year, we're doing a marriage conference. So we put it on our heart. We have prayed about it. We talked about it. It is so important. Relationships are important to God and certainly important to us for you. So looking at that, in addition to that, she has a couple books out there. And one of her favorite books that I have right up here on my shelf because I pull it out frequently is Blessings of Generations Through Prayer. That book right there, and she's got several other eBooks, but her Generations Through Prayer, I want you to go on Amazon, because if you are a mother, a father, a grandfather, a grandmother, you need to be praying for your children and your children's children. And I love this book because it's got so many tools in it. But she is a certified life coach. Along with her ministry, she balances being a Christian counselor. She has a master's degree in counseling, a very effective counselor, may I add. And she is getting ready to start a new podcast. So we're going to talk some about that. That's the latest thing in her tool belt, which is called Reign in Purpose. It's a synergistic blend of coaching and counseling and ministry insights and strategies. And she, Lisa works in her local community and loves traveling with her husband. And I will add that she has 2 amazing grandkids as well, because, being a grandma. So Lisa, what's your grandma name? What do your grands call you? Tell the audience.
GB.
That's so cool. I am G Mom. G to the M to the A. I'm that cool grandma. So Lisa, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for the invitation, Maggie. It's always a pleasure having conversations with you.
Well, today we've got a lot of ground to cover because I want my viewers to know all about you. Now, some of you know Lisa, some of you do not know Lisa. Where are you, Lisa? Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. I lost my screen there. Hold on. There we go. Ooh. Some of you do not know her, and just by her credentials alone, she's a very impressive woman. But I know her. I know her heart, and I know the backstory of how all this transpired, because Lisa's got an amazing testimony. And if you want to hear it, you're going to need to either come to an intensive or a conference or something, or maybe at another time we will do a broadcast about what God has done in her life over the years. It's absolutely nothing short of a miracle. But the fact of the matter is, she has this purpose, passion for helping people find their purpose. And she does this in her coaching. She does this in her counseling. She does it in her talk show, and we'll be doing it in her podcast. But Lisa, I want to know what struck that purpose-driven thing in you.
Oh, gosh. Well, it seems like everything starts in childhood. I have, over the years, really pondered that question, because I get that question often, why a coach? Why Purpose Bourn? Maggie, I grew up listening to adults complain about their lives, have conversations of hopelessness, feel like they were losers, feel like they hated their lives. I grew up hearing my mom's friends talk about how if they didn't have children, they could do this. If they had gone to college, they could do that. And really just not be satisfied with their lives. And so as an adult, I heard those same things, those same conversations from people all over the world. My husband was active duty Air Force, and I worked for the government. And so we had the opportunity to travel to Germany, Japan. We've taken trips all over the world. And the conversations were so familiar of people not being satisfied with their lives, people not knowing their purpose, not believing that they had purpose. And it just really struck me as being very sad, I can't imagine going through a full life of not knowing my purpose, not feeling like I had a destiny, not having dreams and goals and visions, and not able to fulfill them in any way. So just hearing those conversations for most of my life really sat in my heart. And myself being someone who wanted to become a teacher, when I was a kid, I just knew I was going to be a teacher. And when I graduated from high school, I actually applied for Ball State University that had a great teacher's curriculum. And that didn't work out for me. I ended up getting pregnant, getting married to my high school sweetheart. And we traveled around, as I said, while he was in the military. But I was very determined to get my degree, and I wanted to be a teacher. That wasn't quite God's plan for me. I ended up working in child development, teaching in a different way, not in a school, but in a different way. And through my career, God ordered my steps in such a way that I did, in fact, teach. I trained, I mentored, I coached, and now I'm here. And so, when it comes down to why I do this, it's from my own experience and understanding that we all have purpose. We all have meaning because God says so. He says it in his word. And I'm reminded of Colossians that reminds us that all things have been created through him, for him. And so we have purpose. We have meaning. And I love to help people find that purpose, find that meaning. And actually, as a business mentor, I can help them expand that purpose and meaning into a business. And so one of the things that I do as a business coach is help people monetize, scale, and become an expert in their area of genius.
I love that, Lisa. And I've seen that so many times with myself and other colleagues that have worked with you and some of the end results. And I know that is a very sweet spot for you. Yeah. So ladies, listen, and men, but Lisa's got some visionary in her where she can see what is your mission and help you bring that to life. And that's a powerful thing. It's really a powerful thing. Many times we get clouded in our own ability. We don't see things the same way. We need, every coach needs a coach. And so I'm honored and blessed to have a couple coaches in my life. And Lisa is one of them It's helped me over the years, and to be able to reach more people, because everybody has a call, everybody has a passion, and everybody has a purpose. So we need to, get people like Lisa in our life to extract that from us. And I know that for a lot of women, Lisa, that you've dealt with, and that I have dealt with as well, self-image is an issue. Let's talk about that for a moment.
Oh my gosh, self-image it's a big issue, but here we go again. Why do you have low self-esteem, self-worth? Why is your self-image being challenged? And that goes back to childhood, probably adolescent years, adult years. It goes back to those messages that we've heard. And unfortunately, a lot of those messages are key to what hinders us from our purpose. Yeah. Those limiting beliefs, those fears, that lack of confidence, that lack of support. And Maggie, even life challenges will hinder us from our purpose, because when life feels hard, we tend to stop or draw back, or we get tired, we get frustrated, and we don't have the strength sometimes to fulfill our purpose or run that race. Sometimes we just give up. And, so it goes back really to the messages and what we have chosen to believe, to the point that it even, we can even tap into the root of our worldview. We can even go that far. And that's what some of the things that I'm going to be talking about in my podcast. The purpose for Reign in Purpose is to really strengthen men and women in their faith, in their belief, in their resolve that they can and do have a life of purpose. Now, what do I mean by that? Maggie, a lot of us believe that there's this one big purpose that we're supposed to live out, this one big destiny that we're supposed to have. But the fact of the matter is, Maggie, when we are in God, when we are obeying God, when we are in alignment with God, we are in purpose. We always have purpose. That stay-at-home mom raising her children are in purpose. Okay. Yeah. And so we have to, and this is really what can cause a little discomfort in our lives. That mindset that our purpose is big, it's major, it's this destiny, and it causes us to be uncomfortable or dissettled with the life that we currently have. And so I want to kind of dismiss some of those beliefs and those myths about what purpose is.
Yes. Many times people think they have to measure up to someone. Yeah. The other day, we're talking about the imposter syndrome.
Oh, gosh.
It's huge. It's huge for people. And this is one of the many reasons that it's important. I love the fact that people always say, well, what's the difference between a counselor and a coach? And I always tell them, counseling goes back to where you were and coaching takes you where you're at. Mm-hmm. And so you need both in your life, because if you go and get a coach and you have not dealt with your underlying issues, they're going to resurface. You can cut those branches back on that tree, but those roots are still there, and it's going to produce whatever you've always had. I love one of my favorite quotes is Les Brown's is, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you always have, and it's so true. And so by having a coach in your life that has a counseling degree, to me, is invaluable. And that is why it's just, we can flow in and out of those veins because of our knowledge that we got from our degrees, but also the training and coaching and the life experiences. Has your life experiences molded you and helped you in the area of helping others?
Yeah, and that's what our life experiences do. They mold us into a mindset. They mold us oftentimes into a career field. They mold us through our choices, the actions that we take. They mold us into our identity. And again, that is one of the reasons why I'm a purpose coach, specifically because my life experience of hearing so many people complain about their lives and be dissatisfied with their lives and not believe that they have purpose has given me that niche. You know, the name of my business is Purpose Bourn Coaching. Now, born is not B-O-R-N, but B-O-U-R-N. When God gave me that name, the first thing I did was Google it, right? Because I want to see if the name is available for my business. Sure. And so there were several things that had born. And
like Jason Bourne, the movies.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, Lord, B-O-R-N is taken. And I did. And so I was like, okay, let me think of another name. But God said, no, born. And so I started playing with the spelling and I came across B-O-U-R-N. And when I looked at the definition of it at the time, it was a stream or brook that grows and recesses. And that really spoke to me because in our lives, we have seasons of purpose that grows and recess. It's like we know we are dead in our purpose. It's growing, it's blooming, we're feeling it. And then there's a time when we don't feel like we're in our purpose. Even though we don't feel like we are, or things are not moving the same way. Another thing that spoke to me was the fact that water, a stream is water, a brook is water, and it's life-giving. And so that is our purpose. We give life to ourselves, to our purpose, but also to the people around us, to the situations around us. And purpose born also means destination or goal. So all of that really resonated to me. And that's why I named my business Purpose Bourn, B-U-R-N. And I don't think it was by accident that God wanted me to do that. We have a destination, yes. Our destination is to receive Jesus as our Lord and Savior and have a life and have it more abundantly and have eternal life. That's why we were created. But while we're on this earth, we are created to serve him. We are created to honor him, to glorify him with our mouths, with our lives, with our gifts and talents that he gives us.
Yes. Wow, Lisa, that is so thick, and I love that story, and I'm so glad you shared it with the viewers because, we think that things just happen by happenstance, and it doesn't. God has a purpose and an intention with everything that he does. For years, I was doing my coaching, counseling ministry and all that type of stuff, and then he threw network marketing in, and I'm like, well, Lord, where does that fit? And then I realized that was an area that he wanted to grow me in personal development and leadership and in income. So all of those areas. So we have to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit about what is he birthing in us right now. And when I think of that born and I think about that living stream of water that we're to walk in the fullness of God with our goals and our talents and our gifts and lay them before our feet. And it looks different for everybody, And so if you're watching this today and you're thinking to myself, I don't have a purpose, we're going to beg to differ with you. There's a purpose and a passion in everyone. And the things that you're going through today is going to produce tomorrow. And so, just sometimes the road looks different. So let's talk for a moment about perseverance. Now, I know the story behind the TV show. Okay. But my viewers don't. And I want you to share with them, Lisa, about the years of standing and believing, going, God, did you really say that? Was that really, let's talk about that for a moment. Let's talk about Power Fueled Living and how the Lord gave that to you.
Yeah, so in 1995, I had rededicated my life a year before. And
okay, hold on just 1 second. Did y'all hear that? She said 1994. Think back how long ago that was, okay? 1994. Okay, so if you're in a waiting stage, I want you to listen very carefully to the story. Go ahead, Lisa. Sorry.
Yeah. So in 1994, I had a dream, and I was the host of a talk show. I had the mic in my hand. I had guests, and I had an audience, and I was wearing a red dress. I just remember it very clearly. And I woke up and thought, wow, that was an odd dream. And partly because at the time we were in Okinawa, Japan, I did not watch talk shows. As a matter of fact, we just had Armed Forces Network. So we were not watching talk shows. And so it just seemed like an odd dream. And that was like the whole night. That was the only dream that I had. And so I kind of dismissed it. And as each on though, Maggie, God would remind me of that dream. And it wasn't until like 1999 or something like that. I mean, it was like years later when he reminded me of that dream again. And I was like, Lord, why do you keep reminding me of this talk show?
Excuse me.
Talk show. And I started and I was like, I have no ambitions to be on television. I don't know how that would look. And so I said, well, maybe I need to start watching talk shows. So I started watching talk shows, didn't like any of them, and just, let it go. Yeah. So then about 3 or 4 more years later, Maggie, the dream was still there. And I said, okay, Lord, I don't know what this means, but your will be done. And when I said, your will be done, I felt something in my chest. It was like an acceptance. It was like a peace because I had agreed to God's will. Fast forward to 2014, 20 years later, I was asked to interview on another person's show, and I told her about this dream of a talk show. Well, I had already been thinking about the talk show because by this time I know the internet. I know how you can actually have a talk show in your home. And so I was thinking, maybe I should put up a camera because God never released me from the dream. And I shared my vision with her about my talk show. She said she loved it. She would like to be a part of it. And we just got the ball rolling. Well, we had done 4 interviews at the production station. And after that, she got a job in a different state. And I thought, well, Lord, what is happening? I thought you wanted me to do this talk show. And he said, not that way. That's not my plan for you. And so he took me through some training, some production training, and gave me a clear vision and outline of how he wanted Power Fueled Living to look. So we started producing Power Fueled Living officially in 2015. And when I say we experienced spiritual warfare, Maggie, we had so many problems the first year of trying to produce Power Fueled Living. It was ridiculous. Even the television studio manager, he was like, Lisa, why does this always happen to you? We had equipment breaking. We had things stop working. We just had all kind of craziness. And a prophet emailed me and she said, Lisa, I feel like God has said that you need to get a group of prayer warriors to pray for this work. The enemy does not want this work to go forward. Well, I had already asked, my prayer partners to pray for me, but by her saying that I knew how serious it was. So I invited more people to pray for me very specifically. Yes. And so we finally got Power Fueled Living on the air December of 2017. And so we started on Access Nashville, and now we are on WHTN, CTN. Yeah.
Wow, which is amazing because we all know what goes into a WHTN. It's a great network. Lisa and I are both part of the Bridges media team there. And so it takes a lot. So some people may not know this, but what Lisa does is under the covering of a 501c3. So that ministry takes donations. So if you're an advocate for television, and I'm just going to say, we know that there has been some abuse in television industry. But whenever you've got someone giving life, it's good to give to that soil. So if you are interested in giving to that ministry, reach out to me. I'll send you Lisa's link and you can donate, because Power Fuel is sponsored by people like you.
Yeah.
People that love to see the word go out, people that want to see people encouraged. And it's not heavy duty. It's it's designed, spirit led, to where it draws the person in. It's not religious. It's not like, okay, we're here today to tell you how great Jesus is and how great we are and how bad you are. It's not that. It is opening up areas and talking about things that the church doesn't like to talk about. I know I've been on the show. We did an episode on the importance of marriage, because I'm very passionate about marriage, because I have a really crappy marriage. I have a really good marriage, and I'm passionate about it. But we also did one on addiction, and we talked about the hard stuff. And that's what I love about Power Fuel, is it's not going to mamby-pamby water anything down. It's shooting straight from the Spirit of God. What is he saying? So the guests on there are authentic. They are transparent. And Lisa creates an atmosphere for people to learn about this, feeling like they're being beat up. So it's good soil to sow into. And if you're interested in supporting that, it is something that I would encourage you to do. So Lisa, it's an amazing story.
What I encourage people about that is sometimes we get visions and dreams from God that we don't understand. And I put it on the shelf. But then just as soon as I agreed with it is when I know that things started moving on my behalf. And so, and it took a long time, but when I look over my life and I look through the seasons of my life, during that period of time, I can see how he was growing me and developing me and preparing me and strengthening me for this time. And so I want to encourage you, don't worry about the time. Okay. When you believe that God has given you a dream or a vision and you don't understand it, then to say, Lord, I don't understand this, but your will be done. And allow the heavenlies, allow the spirit realm to begin to work on your behalf and manifest in the natural realm to prepare you for what God has for you. We dealt with a lot of spiritual warfare. And if he had given me that dream when I wasn't ready, I would have given up, Maggie.
Absolutely.
Or I would have just said, forget it. Or, I don't want to do it this way. Let's do it another way. So God knows the timing. Now, let me talk about timing, though, for a moment. Because the fact of the matter is, in life, we do miss seasons. We do hinder blessings. We hinder our seasons of purpose. We do that. And that's okay, because God can restore. God can renew. And so if you feel like that you've missed the season, if you feel like that you've gotten off track, you've gone in a wrong direction, admit it, talk to God about it, and ask him to redirect you if it's his will. And if it's not his will, if he wants you to go on a different path, go on that path. Because something that God showed me, Maggie, is because there are timings and seasons of our lives. And because I've done this, he told me to do this. He's told me to ask for restoration and recovery in certain areas of my life. But he's also taught me that because of his plans for me, sometimes I can't get that opportunity that I missed. That opportunity has passed. Now it's time to move on for this opportunity. And I want to speak to you guys about that. If you've missed opportunities, release it. Forgive yourself and release it and say, God, what is the opportunity for me now?
So important and so good because we hang on to things, and God speaks, and God doesn't change, but our circumstances do.
Right.
And there are seasons for reasons. It's just like some people are in your life for a reason, for a season to burst something in you. Lisa, when I get discouraged, I always think about the story of Purpose Bourn, because myself, in 2012, I woke up and wrote an entire business plan in the middle of the night. Didn't even know how to write a business plan. I had to Google how to write a business plan, but God said, write it down, and about our recovery high school, the junior high and high school that we're believing God for. Now, it has taken, that was in 2012. We're in 2020. It would be really easy for me to say, well, God, I literally, from 2012 and 2016, I was saying to God, oh, this is great. As soon as I find the person that's supposed to do this, I will hand this over to them, because there's no way I can do this. This is not my calling.
Right.
But in 2016, when he confirmed on us that it is. So you would think, okay, 2016, here we are, 2020, we still don't have a business, but we've been able to work on the cloud with many youth and their families to help them to get the stability they need to walk out of the dysfunctions and so forth. But we're still standing and believing. And I love the word that says, do not get weary in well doing, for you will reap if you faint not. And so I always think of Purpose Bourn when I get discouraged with Moving Forward Academy, because our ministry, Moving Forward Ministries, that is an umbrella, but the academy is a very important part, and it takes different fashions in different ways. But it's interesting that you said when you came in agreement with it, because just 2 years ago, actually in 2018, at the close of 2018, the Lord gave me a vision about the cloud. And that's where a lot of the teens are. Now, I've worked in Skype, Zoom, different platforms, in private counseling with multitudes of people, but I never thought about doing an umbrella on the cloud, and it made sense to me. So I came in agreement with that. And when I did, he started downloading in me all new curriculum. So now we have the Power program for ages 8 to 11, for ages 12 to 17, and then for ages 18 to 25, and then for families. So he will do. He won't put you under more than you can bear, but he don't want to come in agreement with what he's asking you to do. So God is asking you to do something tough, and it seems astronomical, and you're thinking, there's no way. You need to trust him, and you need to trust his timing, because we have to grow into certain areas and go through certain things to have the authority to do those things. And Lisa, I have seen what God has done in your ministry, at the TV station, with your coaching and your counseling and your ministry stuff. And I just want to put in a plug here, because Lisa and I do these intensives, and in the intensive, you're probably going, what is an intensive? Well, in the counseling round, it is a small group and basically helping you to overcome an area of your life. We've done it on several topics over the years, but we have one coming up March the 28th in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And for the first time ever, we're opening this up to the internet waves. We're opening it up to those that view us online, because we always get messages from people going, I wish I lived in Tennessee. I wish I could be there, and so forth. So if you are interested in that, it's called an intensive for a reason. And what we do is we take the psychological aspect of the thing that you're dealing with, the thing that you're trying to overcome, the thing that you're trying to understand, and then we blend it with the truth of God's word. So you're getting it from a ministerial point, but you're mostly getting it from a counseling standpoint, because we understand the importance of you walking in wholeness, spirit, soul, body. So we are offering that to the viewers. And go on Eventbrite, get registered for that, buy it for, if you're doing a live event in your home, invite a couple people that need this, and get these tools that you need to be successful. Because Lisa and I both have gone through a whole lot of counseling, a whole lot of coaching, a whole lot of education, a whole lot of ministry, a whole lot of snot time on the face crying out to God, and so forth. And we want everybody to walk in their calling. And so I encourage you to do that today. In addition to that, when does Rain in Your Purpose start, Lisa? I'm excited about this broadcast.
Oh my gosh, I am too. So Reign in Purpose, we're launching it the first week of March. Now, the first week of March, we're going to have an episode each day of the week, because I want to have, I'm a coach and I'm business minded, right? So in order to get the podcast on iTunes and really get it on all of these platforms, you want to have at least 10 episodes. Well,
Sure.
we've been producing, and so I want to make sure that I make an impact right away. That's the coach in me, right? And so we're going to be doing that, but then it's going to be once a week on Mondays.
Gotcha.
And I'm very excited about it. And I will definitely have links in my information. And I have some partners who are going to be sharing the podcast links. So be looking for it next week.
Yes, that's exciting. It's right around the corner. So y'all put that on your calendar. And of course, I will share that out when the time comes. And you can always find this information as well on Lisa's Facebook page. So Lisa, tell the viewers how to find you. How can they reach out to you if they're interested in coaching or counseling, or they want to know more about the broadcast, or, follow Powered Fuel? Tell them how they can reach you.
Yeah, so you can reach me at Purpose Bourn, BOURN.com for my coaching, and you can reach me on Psychology Today for my counseling. And then, of course, follow me on my social media platforms. I'm on all the major social media platforms, either under Lisa Hooks or Purpose Bourn.
Yes, yes. And y'all make sure that you get registered for the Liberty Intensive coming up, and be watching for the marriage conference information. We're super excited about that, to add that to, what the Lord has put on our hearts for a while now. So Lisa, I always ask my guests to end the broadcast with a tool, with a key, if you will, a key to their best life. What would you say to those that are listening today to encourage, inspire, or give them a tool before we log off of here?
Maggie, life calls us to more because purpose calls us to more, because God calls us to more. And so I would recommend that you start with Him. Start with God, asking Him, what season am I in? What do I need to do? Do I need to make an adjustment? Do I need to move forward? Do I need to stop? What do I need to do at this season of my life? We can create a wonderful life, a fulfilling life, a meaningful life with small action steps. But the most important step to take is to seek God for your life first.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I appreciate that, because we all need to hear that. That's something we probably need to write down and put in there. So in the chat stream, so we could pull it up. It's interesting. Someone had sent me some the other day on my birthday. It was actually a friend of mine's mother that reached out to me, and she asked me, what do you believe in God for this year? And I thought, I hadn't really stopped and thought about that. And I went to the Father and I'm like, what is your heart for me for this year? As we always think about the new year, either at the Messianic calendar, the Hebraic calendar, or the calendar is starting in January, and that's what we think purpose. But I never really thought about starting on my birthday, the day that I was born, BORN, about how I was born, BOURNE, right? Is that right? So
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
No,
unique. No E. That's Jason Bourne, right? So listen, you guys need to reach out to Lisa. Follow her on all the social media platforms. Make sure you get registered for the events. And Lisa, I just want to thank you for taking the time to come on here today to encourage the viewers. God bless you. We'll see you around the web.
Take care, dear.
Thank you.